Welcome everybody to tonight's Tech and Tell. I Can't Integrate with Khan Academy, Tech and Tell Part 2. Our presenter this evening is Tiffany Lee from Region 9 Educational Service Center. And at this time I'm going to pass Tiffany the presenter rights. And Tiffany, you are ready to go.
Thank you very much. Hello, I wanted to welcome you to the Can't Integrate with Khan Academy Tech and Tell Part 2. Thank you for returning for those who did Part 1. Objectives for today is to review the content of Khan Academy and show you an example of how the content aligns with the Texas Adult Education Content Standards. Also provide steps on how to implement the Khan Academy into your classroom using practice and maybe a flipped classroom, and then show you how to use Khan Academy website in practice-only mode or as a personalized learning platform. Khan Academy offers practice exercises, instructional videos, and it can provide a personalized learning dashboard. It empowers learners to study at their own pace in and outside the classroom. And so these are the two ways that you could use Khan Academy, just by practice only with the instructional videos, or you can do full-blown Khan Academy with the personalized learning dashboard, and that's what I'm going to show you tonight. Okay, so one question. As a tech integration coach in training, I wanted to make sure that you have the necessary information to guide you to implement technology tools into the classroom. So here's a question to ask yourself throughout this webinar, is how will you, or if you implement Khan Academy? Will you use it just for practice only, using the instructional videos and practice exercises? Or will you fully implement Khan Academy like in a flipped classroom environment using personalized learning dashboard? Now, raise your virtual hand if you know what a flipped classroom is. Anybody? Ashley? Good. Ashley, of course Ashley knows. Norbert, do you know? Okay. So a flipped classroom, it's an instructional strategy, and it's a type of blending learning that reverses the traditional learning environment from by delivering instructional content online, often online outside of the classroom. So it's kind of your flipped. You do your videos outside the classroom, and then inside the classroom is just a lot of practice problems. It's kind of just flipped your lesson plan. So here to help, I've provided some steps to guide you. The first step is always make a plan, especially when you're integrating a new tech tool. I use a lesson plan template called the YPIA with an R method. This template will be available, if possible, in the community of practice in the PD portal. The YPIA stands for, first is warm up, then you go into your introduction, then presentation, and then practice, evaluation, then you have your application, and then reflection. You can use Khan Academy in any of these steps depending on how you use the tool. For example, if you're using Khan Academy just for practice with no login required, you can use the practice area of the lesson plan template in the warm-up, and then also the practice area of the lesson planner. However, if you want to just use the tool as a personalized learning tool, then you will hit the majority of the steps in the lesson plan. Step 2 is the content. After you have your template made, you think to yourself, now what content do I want to teach the students? And is it aligned to the Texas Adult Education and Literacy Content Standards? At Region 9, we've developed our curriculum through the Google Drive, and we have a syllabus for the students. Our teachers have an outline of what to teach already in the classroom. So now it's up to the teacher to provide the, quote, practice part of the lesson. And you'll see in a little bit a lesson plan that we developed here at Region 9. We do have worksheets in our curriculum, but you can also, you always need extra practice, especially when it's a digital tool and it's free. And just a reminder that on July 1st, now Anne Marie, if I'm correct, that if you don't know that you will need to provide a syllabus to each of your students. Is that correct?
Yes, and that's actually a TWC question, but I believe that is in the individual contracts for the different programs. And Norbert, your director or your supervisor will know that, but there is the expectation in this new year that we will be moving toward the TWC wants all programs to move toward the use of not only a syllabus but a lesson plan and really following the content standards.
Yes, yeah. So thank you. So last week we covered the content of Khan Academy. So let's do a review of some of the content. Welcome, Sigrid. Okay, so here is a screenshot of the content listed in Khan Academy, and I'll show you later how to get to the screen again, but once you go to khanacademy.org, you can click the subjects. Let me get my arrow pointer. You can click the subjects down arrow, and then this screen will pop up. And then some of the content, I'm going to go backwards, we talked last week about personal finance, because that's a new one in the financial literacy. Then there's some test prep. Then I just showed a teacher this tonight that in the arts and humanities section there's a grammar part, and you can use that in your class for GED and then also in your ESL class. There's also like science and engineering, like a health and medicine for your CNAs and your LVNs if you have an IET program. And then the last we're going to kind of concentrate for tonight is the pre-algebra section. When I was teaching my TSI prep course in the math boot camp, I would ask the students to use this area of Khan Academy for practice, as well as I would put the practice problems on the board while the students figured them out. This area of the Khan Academy aligns with the Texas AEL content standards of the math, and so here's an example. Okay, so here's the example. On the left, you see the Texas Adult Education Literacy Content Standards for Math, and then you have on the right the Khan Academy content. Look at all the sub-areas of the Texas Adult Education and Literacy Content Standards for Math that the pre-algebra content in Khan Academy covers. So the content covers like sub-area 2.1 through sub-area 2.7 of the content and benchmarks. So it covers a lot. Now, step 3 is how to implement. How will I use Khan Academy? How do you want your students to use Khan Academy as just a website that has videos and practice, or do you want them to take advantage of giving the students a personalized learning platform? It is wise to have students sign up for an account. But just remember, I recommend that you do a survey of your students who have email addresses, computer access, or even digital literacy skills. You might make a plan to start with just the practice problems without having them logged in, and then gradually go into the personalized learning platform. It is wise to have students sign up for an account using their email address because they will be able to get notifications of any activity in Khan Academy. If they do not have email address, then maybe complete a lesson on digital literacy on how to set up an email before going into the step of going into personalized learning. Remember your lesson plan template. Will you be using Khan in one step of the lesson or all of them? So that's the question. How will you use it? And just a reminder that Khan Academy is not an approved distance learning curriculum. We can't use it as contact hours. It can only be used as supplement-free instruction. So you can't use it as your proxy hours, only supplement-free instruction. So we're at a point where is there questions so far?
Okay, I think I just
Norbert or Sigrid? I think Ashley needs to put her hand down unless she has a question.
Exactly. And Sigrid, you did not miss that much. So so we just kind of went over. I think, Tiffany, will you go back to the WIPIR lesson plan for a minute?
Sure. I'd be happy to.
So
right here. Here we go.
So this is wonderful. This is I just kind of want to jump in here and give some power to this, because this is she has training on this. Oh my goodness. Tiffany does? Tiffany has training on this?
Yes.
Okay.
Because Glenda actually trained me on this. Well, trained a few of us. If you go through Glenda's, I think ESL strategies or something that I did, she introduced me to the WIPIA, and then also it's happening in if you use the Ventures textbooks, this is what they recommend to do. Yes.
So just to kind of show you how this relates to the content standards, because that's the project I'm working on right now, is that when you think about the content standard, start with the content standard and think about what Tiffany just said about all the areas of the content of the Khan Academy, and think about how you're gonna teach to that standard or that math benchmark, and then do a warm-up, do an introduction, do a presentation, do practice, and that is really the core of what's called a direct explicit lesson. Show them, you do it, we do it, you do it. So it's exactly. So just kind of think about that, and we have
I do, we do, they do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Tiffany has given an example of this lesson plan, which I'll share. But again, let me just jump in here just one more time and just say that every program, Norbert, this is not a state mandate. Every program is going to have a different lesson plan, but this is really a good model for how to do a lesson plan. Okay. Thanks, Tiffany.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. So, does anybody else have any questions before we move on? Because we're at that point when we get into the nitty-gritty. Okay, Norbert, is your hand up? Do you have a question? Typing?
He may be. Norbert?
Oh, no. He said no.
There you go.
Good job. Okay.
I can't tell when people are typing, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. So here's the website for Khan Academy, and what we're going to do tonight is that we are going to take a tour. We're going to take a tour of, I'm going to show you practice without an account, and then also somehow of the personalized learning platform and the ins and outs. Okay, so let's look at the practicing without an account. So here is a sample of lesson plans that our program developed. We have our instructional coach. Her name is Connie Marshall. She came in about a couple of years ago, and we decided that we needed to have a curriculum, and she built our math lesson plans curriculum. And so what she did was she built a template, and then the next year we added the content standards. We first had the GED test targets, and then next we added the content standards, and then we have the primary resources, which are the textbooks. So each lesson or topic, for example, this topic of this lesson is the sign numbers and the number line. And so it's aligned to our content standard, and then you see all of the textbook material that is for that lesson. Okay. Now, as for practicing without an account in Khan Academy, the lesson under pre-algebra has a practice area that says negative numbers and the coordinate plane. You see on the second half of this lesson plan that there's additional reproducible resources. So we provided teachers with worksheets too for this lesson. And then you see the GED Academy. We use GED Academy for a distance learning program. And what I did was I aligned the GED Academy lessons to our curriculum. So if the students go in there or the teacher can go in and assign that lesson in GED Academy. But as for Khan Academy, if you just want to practice without an account, you would go to pre-algebra and then click the negative numbers and the coordinate plane. Okay? So let's go ahead and we're going to do this as a practice. I'm going to show you how to get there. Okay? So let's take a look. I'm going to share my screen. If you can see here, here's the main website. It's khanacademy.org. And so we're going to go to that website. Then you're going to find the subject area. Do y'all remember how many times you can find it? Does anybody know? Y'all can unmute. Or Anne-Marie, does anybody chat? Can anybody how many times can you find the area?
I have a quick question before you
yes.
Answer. Do you want people to log on and follow you, or just
yes,
watch right now?
Yeah, they're welcome to. Yeah, they can
okay.
just go to khanacademy.org and just
so
do it step by step if they're able to. Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead.
And if you want to unmute them, you're welcome to too. So you can find it in 3 ways. Can you repeat the question? Yes, there are 3 ways that you can find the content. So it's okay. So the first way is by clicking the subjects here at the box. You know, here's the navigation. You click the down arrow of subjects, and then you click pre-algebra, and then you go into your lesson. The second way is down here in the middle part of the screen, is that here's math by subject, and then you go into pre-algebra, and then you can find the lesson of the negative numbers and the coordinate plane. And then you can go into the search and then search for negative numbers and the coordinate plane too for that practice. So in this case, what I'm going to share is that I'm going to use the middle of the screen and go to Math by Subject, but I am going to click Pre-Algebra. Okay, once I click Pre-Algebra, you'd see these tiles, and one of the tiles is listed negative numbers and coordinate plane. So here's the negative numbers and the coordinate plane. So it goes straight to the section where you need to practice. So here's the negative numbers in the coordinate plane. On the left, you see the skill summary. And then on the right, here's your practice. You can start with Introduction to Negative Numbers, where you see the play button. That's where you have your video. Or over here where it has practice on the right-hand side, you can just click Start, and then it will show you the practice. You can just start practicing. Okay, so let me show you how to just go ahead and click Start. And I started to learn. You just go and do the start exercises, and it'll go through the exercises. Okay? Okay. So everybody remember how to get there? Okay, again, let's go one more time. So I'm going to go it at a different way. Here's Khan Academy. Then you can go into Math by Subject, Pre-Algebra, then Negative Numbers and Coordinate Plane. And then you can just start doing the practice. You don't have to log in. It starts doing the practice. It goes through practice with all of these skills summary right here. Now you can go in it this way with just clicking subjects and then going into pre-algebra, and then you would have to find the negative numbers and the coordinate plane from there. which would be right here. Here's the lesson, negative numbers in coordinate plane. Okay. Okay. Stop sharing. So did that go okay? You can go ahead and unmute yourself. Is everything okay? Did you find ways to practice?
Tiffany, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Everybody, don't be shy. Norbert,
please don't be shy.
Yeah, if you have a question, Sigrid, if you'd like to unmute, or just ask your questions in the chat pod, okay? Or raise your hand, and we'll unmute you if that's easier with such a small group. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Good. Okay. So the next way is your personalized learning tool. So here you'd see some pictures. The one on the left, that's when I logged in. You could log in, and then you click your coach dashboard. And then once you click your coach dashboard, you click on your class, or you can add a new one. Once you click on your class, it'll go to the content area. And this, I'll show you how to add a class. So when you add a class, it asks you what kind of content, and then that's the content that you'll see. In this example, I picked the arithmetic essentials, so this is the content that I see. But you can see, let me get my pointer, that here is the navigation. Okay, you have content, assignments, progress, activity, roster, and settings. Here's the class code for students to join. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then here's the content. Here's the arithmetic essentials, and here's all the lessons down below. Now on the other side, you see is something that says Common Core, and they have blue links. And these blue links go straight to the Common Core content standard. Now, Khan Academy is aligned to the Common Core content standards, but it is similar to our Texas adult education in literacy content standards. Go to the next screen. Okay, the assignments is once you click on an assignment and you assign it to your class, you can click the tab Assignments and see the assignment that you assigned them. You have the name of the assignment, the due date, when it was assigned, and then how many people completed. And then this is very good of the view report. I love the view report. Let me go to the next slide and show you. In the personalized learning dashboard for the coach dashboard of you see this this report in the progress tab. And the progress tab, this is great, is that you see the lesson, then you see a bar that starts with struggling, needs practice, practiced, level 1, level 2, and then mastered. So you can see like a progression. Now, when you look at this as a teacher, if you see all of your students struggling or needs practice, that means as a teacher you need to reteach the skill, or you can ask them to open it, redo it, and listen to the video and then redo the practice problems over again. Or you can reteach the skill. Now, the next tab is the Activity tab. And in the Activity tab, when you click on it, you can see all the activity of your students. So I just added myself as a student, of course, just to practice. And this was my activity. I know you can't see this, but I'll show you in just a minute. These are the skills that I completed in this amount of time, and then what time I did it. Okay? And then it has a legend of, is it during normal hours or is it outside of school hours? So they're getting really sophisticated, I guess you can say. The next tab is like a student roster. When students are added to your class, you can add new students to your class, or the ones that have accepted, you'll see them down here. It's basically your student list of your roster. Okay. Now this is a way to add students to your class, and there are 4 ways. You can add them by having them go to khanacademy.org/coaches and then type the class code in, or you can add students in one of these ways, like import it into a Google Classroom. You can send them an email invitation, which I'll show you in just a minute, or you can create a Khan Academy account for them. So if you have students that are not able to do it, you can go ahead and create that account for them. Okay, so here is a notification. Now, the notification when a student is signed up by email and you added them, you can add them by an email and like invite them by email address. They will get a notification. And this is a sample of the email that I received when I added myself to the class. So it says, like their name, you've been added, or this is the assignment. So when assignments, but this is kind of like a notification, but when assignment is given into the class, you see students get notifications of it. So I got a notification of a new assignment in the class, and what I needed to do is to click start, and I would go, and when you click start, it goes straight into that lesson. They would need to log in, and it'll go straight into that lesson. Now, after I completed the assignment on the student side, is that this is like an outcome. So I got 5 correct. It told me I get 5 correct to reach 100%, and I got 4, so I got 80%. But it also told you which ones you got correct and incorrect. And then you see the ones that are in different colors. You can click on the links and it'll go straight to that lesson. Like we recommend the following lesson to help you learn. You can click on that link and it will go to that lesson. So, are there any questions so far?
Tiffany, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Do you think you could show us?
Yeah, I'm going to.
And walk us through that again, because the PowerPoint's a little hard to see. Does anybody have any questions? Norbert, Sigrid, would it be helpful if we got to kind of see her walk through the website? Just raise your hand or say yes in the chat pod. Would that help? Okay, so Sigrid says yes. Norbert, would you like to see her walk through it again?
Yeah, that's what I'm about to do that right now.
Hey, Tiffany.
Yeah.
This is Ashley. And can I just kind of give firsthand experience?
You go right on ahead.
I'm not being negative, I swear to you, but I'm being honest, and because it happened to me, and I love technology, that this could be very important, this part especially, to other people, because I don't know if you saw my comment, but last weekend I embraced it. I embraced Khan Academy. So I have a love-hate relationship with this website. They've become so big, and they have so many wonderful things that they almost have too much, especially if you're just trying to keep it simple for a student. So this was a struggle. I probably spent 3 to 4 hours on this on Saturday, and I was so angry. But if somebody had told me one simple thing that you said earlier, everything would have been eliminated. And the part that you said, and the thing is, I went through that certification thing you said to do or whatever. Went through that. It's only an hour long. It's not a real big deal, but it's just about integrating. But it really didn't help me. But my frustration was with, and I'm trying to go back to where you said that, but was with how to this is what I wanted to do, simply share a link and give the students a code to join my class. I had more difficulties with that than anything, so I think it's really, really important, in my opinion, that you share that part with other people because, for most of us, keep it simple.
Yes.
So that's all I'm going to say, but that's what and I have to go let my dog out. So
okay.
Because I know now, but it took me 3 hours.
Oh.
Sad for me, I know. All right, I'm going to step away for a second.
And
okay.
Tiffany, to add
yes,
to that, is it easier with the code? Is it easier? Walk us through setting up the classes, because to Ashley's point, I think that's why the teacher really needs to decide what they assign to the teachers and not have them go get lost on the Khan Academy website. Okay.
Right. And that's why I was giving them, I gave y'all 2 different ways to do the steps of the lesson plan, but in how to integrate something, especially when you're new to technology, you want to make sure that you plan first, especially Khan Academy, and what you're going to do and when you're going and how. So it's basically, are you just going to do practice? Then you need to know the steps. If you want to do full-blown personalized learning tool and watch their progress and everything like that, just like we just learned, you need to understand it's step by step. But I'm going to show you how to do that personalized learning and show you those tabs and where to find everything, especially to adding students too. So let me go ahead and share my screen.
Sorry, Tiffany.
Go ahead.
Norbert just shared something really valuable. I started setting up a class and was surprised that the school district I work with had all schools registered to Khan. That's wonderful.
Yeah. So you go to KhanAcademy.org, and then you just go ahead and click Login. Now, on the login, as a teacher, if it's your first time to sign up, then you would click Sign Up, and then it's going to ask you, are you a teacher, are you a learner, a teacher, or a parent? And I always do teacher. Okay? Then make sure you give your date of birth, or if you already have an account, you just click that link. And I'm going to go ahead and put my account information in. Okay, here we go. So here it is. I logged in as a teacher, and this is what you see. Just like last week we reviewed, you go straight into your portal. You see the good, Norbert. You see the navigation at the top where you have classes, students, and resources. And then you have your trainings, okay? Now down at the bottom it has your classes. And this is my class. But if you want to add a new class, you just click Add New Class and a window pops up. Then it gives you 3 steps. Okay, the first step is to name the class. So if I wanted to name, for example, our class in the morning, okay, you can go ahead and just put a class name, or you can click the option that says Import Class from Google Classroom. Then you click Next, and then this is where it will add your subject. This is where you want to click. What subjects do you want to cover? So for me, and if it was my math boot camp or if it was the morning class, I'm going to click pre-algebra, okay? And then I'm going to click Next. You can click more than one class. I'm going to do pre-algebra, or maybe I'm going to do grammar to help them, okay? Then you would click Next. And no, this gives you the option to add official SAT practice teacher tools, and I'm just going to skip that for now. Now on step 3, there's ways for you to add your students. You can add students by having them go to KhanAcademy.org /coaches and then type your code in, okay? Or you can print the instructions, okay? And I'm going to show you how it's printed. So here's Here's the print they give you for little handouts, and you can put the code, the class code on there. Okay. Or you can add your students by importing it from Google Classroom. If you use Google Classroom, you can send them an email invitation. Like, for example, I'm going to send myself an email invitation. Okay. And that's the way to come in. Good job, Norbert. You can send them an email invitation, and I prefer email, but you can just have them go ahead and log in and do the others. Okay. Or you can create a Khan Academy account for them. Okay. And then you would click Invite Students. Okay. And then now my class is created. So now the next step is to find exercises or assign them assign them to students, or view the page to track it. So I want to find the content to assign. So here it is. Here's the page that I just showed you in the PowerPoint. Okay. So I have the content. Let me find my pointer here. Here is the navigation where you have content, assignments, progress, activity, roster, and settings. You can click on each of those tabs and it'll go to a different window. Okay. Then you have the then you have all of the content that's listed. Now we were talking about negative numbers and coordinate plane. So down here is the negative numbers and coordinate plane. In order to assign it to the class, okay, over here on the right, there's a box. You just click the box, okay, and you assign them the whole area of negative numbers and coordinate plane. And then you would click Assign. You assign it to that student. I think I have 68 assignments. That's where you would assign it. Now, in my practice in the PowerPoint, what I did was I just assigned the quiz. So I'm just going to click the quiz, and then I click Assign. And then you can deviate which class you want to assign it to, all the students, and then actually give them a due date. So you can do due dates. Okay, and then you would click Assign, or you would click Save. Now let's look at the assignment of the other class that I had. I did Tech and Tell. Okay, here's the assignment that I assigned. I just clicked the tab Assignments, and then here's the assignment, Quiz 1 for Negative Numbers Quiz. The due date, assigned, when it was completed, who completed it, and then here's the link to View Report. So I just click this View Report, and this is wonderful. I love this report. Here's the report. It shows each question. Let me get my pointer. It shows each question. Then it shows the percentage, if it's correct, or if it's what's the percentage of the whole class. So if you had more than one person, you would have a percentage of the whole class. So if the question is like below a 70 or a 75, then you know that question you need to review in the classroom again. Or you can have them do the quiz again. It's kind of like the most missed questions. The GED test has like a most missed questions document, and you can go over those most missed questions. Well, this is sort of the same for that. So that is the report. Okay, I'm going to go back to the assignments. Now here's the progress bar. The progress by skill. Let's see, I was in negative numbers. Okay, and this is where the progress bar is. And this is where you see, if you remember, need skills, level 1, level 2. They list the bar, okay, and it's different colors, different colored colors for every area. So when you click on a lesson or one of the bars, you see the students. So if I had students in the struggling area bar, okay, I know that I need to reteach that skill. But if I have students also in the mastered and maybe who needs a little bit more practice, then maybe you can team up, like in groups, you can team up a higher level student with your lower level student, and maybe they can teach it in a way where they can understand. Now on your activity here, click the activity. Okay, here is what I did, how much time. I spent 17 minutes on a skill with adding 2-digit numbers and some strategies. It was a little hard. I enjoyed it though. Okay, and then if you click the roster, here, this is where I am, my username. Then here's where you can add new students. You know, that's the screen will pop back up. And you have your settings. Like you can change your class name, you can change the subject, you can turn on the SAT test prep. You could also sync it with your Google Classroom. So far, are there any questions? Am I going too fast? I know we have about 10 minutes. To unmute, you're welcome to, or if Anne-Marie, if you want to unmute.
So I'm wondering if Norbert would like to share, Norbert, in the chat pod, how is the school district using Khan Academy, and are you able to access all the things? Have they started classes for all the students? Kind of share with me and kind of share some ideas of how you're going to use this. So I think that would be...
Yeah.
Okay.
So give it an idea of how you're going to use it. Now, when you sign up as a learner, like if you sign up as a teacher, it will ask you what school are you associated with.
I think oh, go ahead. I think he's trying to type. He started to type,
okay.
Norbert. So he says that his school district's been using it for years. So, Norbert, so can you access, I guess that's a question I have for you, Tiffany, or for Norbert, or for Ashley, or someone. If you're a teacher, if you're in a school district that is already using this, so can you somehow access all of the classes that they have so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel? Can you access?
I don't believe so. I do not believe so. Now, when you sign up as a teacher, it'll ask you what's your name and what school are you associated with. And I'm highlighting on the school, Gateway Student Support Center is in Burke-Burnett. But if you click the school, it just asks you for a zip code, and then these are the schools that come up. Or you can click if your school's not there, like if Literacy Council of Tyler's not there, you can request and Region 9 Education Service Center's not here either. But when I do, I think 76306, and see how it pulls up all the schools around, but it didn't pull up Region 9.
Okay. So, Ashley, did you want to share? I think you had something you wanted to say.
Well, you know how I am. I kind of do, because I feel like companies like Khan Academy, especially because they're huge now. Oh my goodness. Which they're awesome, but they can be overwhelming at the same time. But mostly I feel like they should be recognizing us, adult education.
Yes.
And I'm going to be, you know me, I will reach out, and I'm going to, because that was frustrating me last weekend, because they do have the option of adult students on there at one point, but they're not talking about us. They're talking about adult students being in college, or, you know, adult learners coming back to college. And I really feel like we need to go ahead and, you know, say, hey, we're out here, we're using you too. And
right. Well, that's where I did submit the school request, is that I put Region 9 Education Service Center, but I did put adult education and literacy.
I'm sure I already have done it, but I'm probably going to do it many more times because they are amazing. They really are, because they have so many things. They have things I didn't even know about, and oh, you're running out of time. But I'll make this really quick. But really quick, I did not know that they had like a career and college ready program that I was able to incorporate into my HyperDoc recently. But what throws me off is, okay, well, I'm going to assign this lesson. Well, the lesson ends up being like a ridiculous amount, like 180 lessons.
Yeah.
So you have to be super specific about what you want, and I think that's really important, just a side point to make, and now I'm going to stop talking.
So what Ashley was talking about is the College of Careers and more, so if you click on that area, here's everything under College Careers and more. And I believe last week I talked about personal finance, so you can click that area, and here's all the lessons or topics under personal finance for financial literacy.
Well, I think too, and I think Ashley brings up a really good point, and I think that's why I'm going to keep driving home the point that I made all hour, and that is everything that we talk about on Tech and Tells. I think, first of all, I would not want to send a student out here on the site. This would be something where I would have to meticulously go through and try to find specific things. And so I think that's a good point, and I think that you really have to do your homework with Khan Academy.
Yes, you do, and that's why I'm more of I'm a planner. So I have to, I'm even in a planning group at the library. So I go by the lesson plan, and I make sure that if I'm practicing on a tech tool, I make sure I have the steps to go. Or like in my distance learning orientations, when I do the distance learning for GED, I do an orientation and I show them the sites of what parts to go to.
Now, Ashley brought up a really good question, and this is something that as the lead for the Adult Education and Literacy Institute at Train PD kind of falls under my purview here. And the question is, Ashley, I think we should do some webinars on this topic of WIPIR and lesson plans, but I think they would probably be separate from the Tech and Tells because it's technology, unless we maybe bring a group of us together to create some lesson plans using WIPIR, using some of the sites that we've featured. What comes to mind is Khan Academy, Newseum, ReadWorks, Common Lit. You see where I'm going with this?
That's kind of what I was thinking too. I'm sorry to interrupt again,
No, jump in here.
Because I'm always sad because whenever Tiffany and I present, like live present, we're always at the same time. We're always in competition with each other. I always try to attend every presentation she gives online, but it's not. But I always, you know me, Anne-Marie, I love strategies. So she has a strategy that I'm fascinated with, and she shared it with me, but I want to actually see what she has to present. So I think that the idea would be, it would be really cool kind of to do like what you've done before and take strategies and incorporate it with tech tools. And I've honestly gotten more out of Anne-Marie's presentations on Tech and Tells because she's taught me so much more than just a tool. She's taught me a strategy, and that I think that's the coolest thing ever.
Well, I think the three of us, so let me ask Norbert and Sigrid, because I think that we do have to do more of that. So would that be something that you think would be valuable if we looked at the tool like Khan Academy and showed you how to apply it to an actual lesson? And I think we could take WIPIA, or whatever I call it.
WIPIA with an R.
But where I'm going with that is I think we need to take that, and I think we need to go back to the standard and show the standard on the lesson plan. So you look at WIPIA and do it that way.
Well, I wanted to, if I can, go ahead and let me show you real quick if you had some time. Let me show you what our ESL did. On the ESL side, we did our curriculum, but we use the WPIR lesson plans. So we do have a curriculum for each of our units, and then each of the lessons has an actual lesson sheet. Let me make sure if I have this correctly. Yes. Okay. So here's the WPIR lesson, and here are all the content standards for ESL with that lesson on the levels, and then you have the warm-up, the activity, the whole group, the practice with everything. You have a closing activity. Here's the evaluation, and here's the expansion of additional practices, where we add more practices, especially like with Burlington English. We have Ventures Arcade, and what you could do with a group or individually with the practice. We just took what Ventures gave us. They have a multi-level lesson planner book, and then we took that lesson plan. They have a lesson plan for each area. So, for example, in Unit 2, they have a step. We built steps like step 1 through 11, and then we introduce it. You do listening, vocabulary, grammar, reading, writing, life skills, all of those steps in each, and it might take you a month to do everything of those steps. Or it might take you a week. It just depends on how many times you meet and how many hours you have. So it's all there. But then we also do like a step-by-step lesson plan for the teacher, is that we provide the content standards listed there under the unit. Amazing. But then we do a lesson plan along with the resource, along with the page, and then the assignments. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And we're all saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what, back to both of your points. Well, let's go back, lots to think about. Let's go back to your PowerPoint, because I don't want to take away your time. What we are going to do is, Tiffany was gracious enough to share, she has a copy of the WPIR lesson plan that she actually was able to download from a school district in California, as well as go back to that slide real quick before we close, where you have an example of your unit.
Yes, let me go back to it real quick.
I'm going to provide this for you. She's going to tweak it a little bit and put this sample that this is from Region 9, but she's going to send it to me, and we're going to make this available in the Tech and Tell community of practice. Now, let me check with Norbert real quickly. Norbert, do you know where the Tech and Tell community of practice is in the PD portal? Have you been to the community of practices? Do you know where those are? Okay, good. Phew. Okay. Some of us are. She does not know where that is. All right. So hold on a minute. Do we have a few minutes to hold on here?
Yeah, you can run on ahead.
I'm
good.
Like to see that. Okay. So let's go there real quick. Let me get to. I want to be able to share my screen here. So hold on a minute. Just do a quick summary for us right now while I'm bringing this up, Tiffany, if you want or not.
Okay. Yes, sure. I'm sorry. I muted myself because I was getting my stuff together. But here, let me do a summary. So to summarize for today, I hope you learned a little bit about how to try to integrate a tech tool into your lesson plan. So with Khan Academy, you can do it practice without an account, or you can do it as a personalized learning tool. Are you there?
I'm right here. I just muted myself. Sorry. Sigrid, I'm going to show you where the community of practices are. Do you still, because I want you to see where those are. Is that okay? Can I still share with you? Or did you find the community of practices? All right, so let's just take a few minutes because I do want to show you another one that you want to join if you're not a member of it already. So let me share my screen with you, and here we go. So this is the main screen of the PD portal, and we're going to go to where I always say, when in doubt, follow the buttons. the buttons across the screen. So we're going to go to the orange button that says Connect Communities. And we're going to click on this. So all the communities that I belong to are up here where it says My Communities. Now, if you're not a member of the community, and let me take a step back and explain that some communities are closed if it's for the trainers or something like this. So, but most of the communities are free. And if you're not a member of the Adult Education and Literacy Instruction Community of Practice, I highly recommend that you join that one. That one has got a lot of great things in it. I'm just going to bring this up. I actually moderate this one, and there are so many things that we have in here. Look at this. I've started most of these folders, so it's really good to kind of just look around. But let's go back to the communities of practice, and let me show you. So the Tech and Tell community of practice is going to be down here if you're not a member. So you need to go down to where it says Browse Communities and find Tech and Tell. And then there's going to be an option. If you click on it, let me go back to where mine is. I've got 2 pages of communities that I'm a member of. So here's mine up here, and it says Tech and Tell community of practice. And over here where it says options, you're going to have the option to join it. I'm already a member, so my option would be to leave the community, which I don't want to do, okay? So what's going to be interest to you, Sigrid and Norbert, is all these folders. And I'm about ready to update many of them because we just put many of the Tech and Tells in the community in the PD portal to watch. So this is where I will create a folder for Khan Academy. And the outline version of Tiffany's PowerPoint will go in there, as well as the resources that she just shared with us. So did that help, Sigrid? Do you think you could find it? So let's go back to communities. And you're going to scroll down to where it says Browse Communities, and you're going to find the Tech and Tell community of practice. And I would highly recommend that you're a member of that one. And then also oh my gosh, awesome! See, this was worth it. Okay, so I'm so excited. So let me stop because it's 6 after, and I know Tiffany needs to go, and it is Thursday.
Yes, because the building maintenance is cleaning up, and they're about to. Yeah,
they're about to send you back. Okay, so I want to close, and I want to thank everybody for coming. I want to thank Tiffany. Great job, Tiffany.
Well, thank you.
Great job, as always. Thank you. And I'll see you tomorrow. And then Norbert, Sigrid, thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it.